And weren't no black people playing.
But well, they had a black
except
player
for
coach,
one.
so there was
for one.
So,
you know.
But I hear you. I hear you. Well, we're gonna transition. Speaking of black people, we better have a conversation about profanity, but more importantly, the N-word. Now, this is a word that was near.
I was gonna say it. I'm gonna excuse myself.
Oh,
I don't want to get crucified.
sit down, dude. Hey, my ninja. Oh, that's racist, right?
Right.
Hey.
That was good.
Hey, what he do with a minute? He's like, yeah, I cut that.
Right.
Hey, I am not the type to leave anything off the table. So we putting on the table the use of the N-word. Now, this is a word that I used to love blindly, I think. I mean, I just was in it. Like, I just said it because we said it. And then I woke up, my wife checked me over a series of months. She was like, you know what you're saying? And you know how you sound. And I was like, first, you know, me, what? I've been saying this ain't nothing. And then she's from Canada. So she was like, from an outside black perspective, you sound like this. So that got my spidey senses up. Never were they sharp. Never were they on alert. And now everywhere I'm going, when I'm out, I'm also hearing the word. But now I'm looking at them different. I'm like, you sound different. Ooh, that's a lower vibration, frequency. Oh, man. And what if my kids hear? Like, I don't know. I just got self-conscious. And, oh, look at me. Oh, he John Coltrane there.
Richie ready.
All right, so Richie, you're ready. I now don't use the N-word. I also am not, I'm not the kind that stops you from using the word too. I'm not Sharif and Menace. I'm not gonna be SALAAM you on the cooler instead of passing you the brew, right? I'm gonna give you the brew, but I'm hearing you and I'm like, I'm off of that. What do you feel about the N-word?
I'm the same way you are now. I'm not gonna debase you because you are using it, because some people grow up using it. Mm-hmm. Where I grew up, it was taboo, and it was...
Oh, it was taboo. Now, it's because you're older than us, blah, 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 or why was it taboo?
Probably, and the people I grew up around were civil rights leaders.
Oh, okay.
You know, and they were people...
Golly! Civil War family.
Well, yeah, I mean, seriously. I'm from Chicago. And that's
like I used to babysit Dr. King.
well, yesterday we were watching the football game, right? And the NFL does a whole commercial with "I am somebody." That's Jesse Jackson. I am somebody. That was all Jesse Jackson, right? So I grew up around Jesse Jackson and Reverend Lowry from the Southern Christian Leadership Conference and Dick Gregory and all those people.
And they didn't use the N-word?
No, they absolutely.
I mean, like in real life.
In real
Dick
life.
Gregory did, didn't he?
Definitely did.
Not in my
I'm
house.
not talking
he didn't.
public persona. I'm talking about like
In real life.
Hey,
No,
As soon
in
as you
real
left,
life he
as soon
didn't.
as you left, he said, "Listen, nigga." I'm glad. My bad.
But it was all about, it was fighting for representation. And I don't think the fight for representation and for acknowledgement is the same now as it was. And I think that has led to a little bit more of a casual use of the word. And if somebody wants to use it in a familiar setting, if you want to say that to Hatch or whatever, okay, that's fine. But it's not me.
And you know, you gonna go?
No.
So you're hitting it from like from you being an older person, and I love your perspective. And my perspective is, the older I'm getting now, I'm trying not to use it at all, and because of the position I'm in too, because I'm coaching these high school kids, and they saying it so much, and I'm trying to make sure, because I'm telling them don't say it. So what I got to do if I'm gonna tell them don't say it, I got to make sure my ass ain't saying it too. So I've been finding myself really trying to catch myself now, because I do. No, I still, I'm not, you're trying. I never said I was there.
Yeah.
I'm trying. And around us, I don't correct myself as much as when I'm with the kids. When I'm with the kids, I'm more on point. And I do slip up a lot now, but I am trying now. And I'm always, when I'm at the school, I'm like, hey, stop saying that. Stop saying that. Stop saying that. And then it gets to a point where I just get so mad when I see the people that aren't black say it.
Right.
And that's one thing that gets me so bad. And then that's another reason why I am trying my hardest to not say it as much. Because I see that too, and I feel like I'm a hypocrite. I'm gonna contradict myself if I would never speak up and say that too, because my temper is too short. Somebody says the wrong thing to me, I'm boom, and I gotta get home to my kids. That's my main mission. So maybe I hear it, I'll let it go. But I am really trying to make a conscious effort of not saying that anymore. And I do it more when I'm around the kids, but I got to do it more when I'm not around the kids, because I do catch myself doing it a lot more when I am.
Yeah, because
right now, you ain't gonna never get there.
No, I said when I'm around the kids. I said that. I said when I'm around the kids, I'm way more alert and way more on it than when I'm around all these people. You done took your 10th piss break, man.
Oh, no.
All right? So you missed, look at the joint. You missed it. Hey, because look, before you called me out, he called me out immediately, so I had to make sure. Which I appreciate you though, because I'm still a work in progress. But when I am around the kids, I'm way better. Because I'm thinking about it a lot more than when I am. Than I am when I'm here. But
it was his son's birthday, and you, happy birthday, Lundy.
That's not trying. That's not trying.
you gonna believe him?
That ain't trying.
You gonna believe him?
That ain't trying, dog.
You gonna believe him?
You gotta do better, dog.
What version is that? What version is that? That's the nigga version. Hey.
Oh, y'all stupid. Y'all stupid. I'm listening. Look, the layer of it is there's an energy with words, right? People always say the power of words. I like to really go to energy, but I'm not going to argue the semantics. What I've noticed is, I think the craziest part about it is, if you don't even think power or energy in words, why agitate it when non-ninjas use the N-word? If it has nothing, the word is devoid of any meaning, okay? That's why I'm saying to those people, I want that to be a part of this conversation. Like, you're using it, and they can't use it, and you signing off on it. How you feel about it all?
I mean, a lot of it is within context. I mean, and that is it's such a gray area. But I do believe music plays a lot into that, because it's the biggest songs got it in it in every song. So if somebody's a fan of a song, whether you black or not, naturally, whether you saying it publicly, you might be saying it in your house.
So you saying Eugene and John, when they in their car,
they running it off. They saying it from their soul. They say,
we in Paris. They in Paris.
You can't convince me that you're not saying it. You're not gonna convince me that you're not saying it in your house. But that's why I said it's context.
Ball so hard,
because I know Eugene, it's all good intentions. But in your house, you probably run that. When that song come on, it's part of the song.
I mean, you can't censor yourself that much on some of these songs.
It's part of the song.
You won't say any of the words if you censor all the
It's part of the song.
out.
But I think you gotta base it off of somebody's, like, knowing that person. It's just like, if you grew up in the hood, there's always that one white kid that grew up in the hood with you.
Oh, yeah.
And he gets the pass.
White Mike.
We can act like he don't get the
boy,
pass.
White Mike.
We can act like he don't get the pass.
Oh, but he
gets the pass.
Yeah,
he gets the pass because he's growing up with you. He's on the same block. He's going through the same stuff. Yep. So you know if he says it, he's not saying it with the intentions of right. He's saying it because he's from that environment. Like, it's as natural to him as it is everybody.
Yeah, but that environment doesn't make you a ninja.
That's true. But it's hard. I agree with you. I agree. But it's hard to tell that to somebody who's growing up just like you. I agree with you, but it's hard to tell somebody that's growing up just like you.
No, it's not hard. And there's no gray area. No.
It's not hard for us.
Yeah.
But for somebody,
for anybody in the world, it's not a gray area. You know you can or you cannot, right? So can you go to Beverly Hills right now in 6,000 square foot home and walk into a white person's house?
No.
Okay, it's no gray. Right. So we're saying the same.
Hold on, what if it's your homie? Look like I know what you
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Well, if you don't know them, if you don't know,
Well, you know what? He can't walk in my house either. And I got more than 6,000 square feet.
walking into my house and saying words.
You can't. None of y'all can.
Hold on. Why would you walk into
Who
a
would?
white person's neighborhood
You had me
and
until you
walk
said I
out?
walk in
Why would
somebody's-
you walk into the house though?
Well, I'm
Ain't
saying
nobody walking in nobody's house, first of all.
Exactly.
Or
That's
they
what I'm
gonna get
saying. Why?
something.
the word is our house.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
You can't do that. You can't walk into my life, my culture, how I grew up, how I get looked at. You can't walk into that just because you feel like walking in it today or because you heard a song. Right. That's not allowed.
And Hatch, the individual white kids that grew up in neighborhoods on the south side of Chicago were typically smart enough to know they couldn't say it. Right. And to know that what the plight of the black person was and what that would make somebody feel. So typically where I came from, if it was that one individual white cat or Asian cat or Latino cat in the black neighborhood, they weren't saying it.
No. After the age of 4, you know not to say it.
Felt what you were feeling.
So
They
at
felt
8, if
more
you
like
say
a
it, at
ninja.
12, at 16, you know there's consequences.
I
But,
agree.
but,
I think.
what are
I
we
think-
feeling? Like, I mean, this whole like this whole glue adhesion. Like, I'm black, plight, black. Look at these synonyms. They're horrible. Plight, like poverty a lot of times, poor, underserved, underprivileged, inner city. Like it's like
negative term.
But I'm saying it in, since I'm black, I think the word has a negative connotation. Why do you think that I'm absolved so I can use it because I have a plight? Like, what about I'm black and I'm affluent? What about I'm white, but you and I are like brothers, as he said?
I think it plays into where you're from and how you were raised. Because as we all said here, as you get older, you try to step back from it a little bit because the logic in you is like, hey, I'm more professional, understand that this word, it carries in a way that it shouldn't as you get older. But if you grew up in that and everybody around you's been saying it from childhood, I mean, that's regular conversation. So when you're around your homies,
Is that maturity or are you selling out? You losing touch?
I think it's just
you ain't down.
I think it's maturity because, but
I don't think it has to do with what you growing up in. Because
I think that plays a role in that.
My son was shit. He heard me fuck. Well, shit, my son
Hold on. You gotta use your commas. You gotta use your commas.
that's why it's that's why it matters where you grew up at, right there. That matters.
You gotta put a little bit to that because you definitely right. Because one time I came home and my son didn't know I was at the house. And he's upstairs playing video games with his friends. Like they're on the and he cursing like a grown man. Like I ain't missing a beat. I was up there. I said, niggas.
That's exactly what he said. That's exactly what he said.
That's exactly what I said.
Facts.
Where you learn all that and get so good at it? And he looked right at me. That's why I said I'm trying to do better. I'm trying to do better, but my son didn't grow up in no hood. He didn't grow up in nothing, but he done seen me. He done seen me and my cousins. He done seen me and my homies. And he thinks that's the norm. And then he gets around his friends, and that's what I'm hearing. I was a little shocked. Because he was so good. I'm like, God damn.
But I think
He hold his own. I'm
I'ma say-
holding his own while I'm creeping up the stairs. But
I'm gonna say this one thing. I'll pass it off to you. I think age and time plays into this because now it's in every song, but 20, 30 years ago, it wasn't in every song as much. So it did matter where you grew up and how, like that was in the neighborhood in the conversation. Now it's every song
You're
you
trying
hear
to
it, so
tell
it don't
me
matter.
that
So like
it's
MJ hear
more?
it now.
No,
Like it's
I
in
don't-
every song now.
It's in every song then, 30 years ago?
Not as
There was
much.
a group
Not as
called
much.
NWA.
Not as much.
And
Right,
they said
that's
it.
one song, but it wasn't
one
across the
group.
board. It wasn't
Yeah.
in songs as much as it is now.
Yeah.
They were still trying to censor songs back then,
Yeah, trying.
trying, but now they're not. They're not trying it at all.
2 Live Crew. I could keep going.
They went to court for that.
But
That's what I'm saying.
But you're saying them trying to stop what was happening. And look, the reason it was because it was first, but it was prevalent. Like I'm
No, that's not-
I'm
I
older
agree.
than all of y'all.
I agree. That's what I'm
So, well,
Except
never
for
mind. But point being, growing up, it was me using that word. And let me hear you. We got to say, but we got a little sub point right there with going on. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
you know what's very interesting? Okay, we've all done well and tried to bring up our kids in the best way, right? And our kids go to these private schools that are elite and, you know, got these reputations. And having a daughter who's an athlete that'd be at track meets and stuff at schools, and you would almost all the time I would run up against a group of kids, and it may be 2 black kids and 3 white kids, or a couple of and the black kids are always using the N-word because they think it's going to make them seem cool, until I give them the side eye and look at them. I say, hey man, would you, if your parents were here, would you be saying that? And then they shrink and they start thinking about it. And I would go, right, and I would go out of the way.
I walk through the high school, when I go up there, walk to the weight room, walking, I hear the white kids, I hear the Mexican kids saying it. And I'll look and maybe give them a little look, but I'm not about to, I don't got time to stop there. And another thing is, I don't want to stop there and they give me the wrong reaction, and I got to react the wrong way. So I'd rather know, because I got to hold it in. See, y'all don't understand. Marcel ain't the only one that knows how to turn it on and turn it off. I definitely do. Believe me, I definitely do. But now when I'm in the high school, I'm a different person. Because one thing I'm already doing is I'm walking with my head down anyway. Because them girls is half naked. Ain't nobody gonna ever say nothing. No, I'm serious.
That's
Ain't nobody ever gonna say,
oh, we'll have that convo.
no, ain't nobody ever gonna say coaches peeing or coach. I got 2 daughters. Yeah. And ain't nobody, I walk with my head down and I hear coach. My head go right back down. But I hear those while I'm walking through, and I might look at them. But I'm gonna keep it busy, because that kid might be waiting on me to say something so he can pop off, like, you know, or he might say the wrong thing, and I know the way I'm gonna react. So instead of me even addressing that in my head, though, I'm thinking what you're thinking, like, man, I wish he would be educated, or I wish I would say that, but I just gotta avoid some situations because I just know me. I don't know how these kids are gonna react. These new kids are just so.
I need that. I like that. I need Justin to explain that same group of 5 that you run across, and you hearing the 2 kids trying to overcool it by saying N-word every other word, and you're like, well, depending on where you are, because I caught some of that. I've been to certain places where the parent, the adult, the wise person is disregarded. Like, I don't want to hear it, and who knows or if you're right or wrong. I'm not even respecting my elders, let alone you ain't gonna stop me from doing what I want to do. What was your response? It sounded like you had one.
I just say it's a little tricky because, like, if you, depending on where you grew up, if you grew up in in a nicer neighborhood, you're not hearing it as much. You're still hearing it. You hear it in the music. But when you, like, in the middle of the hood, the parents are saying it. Yeah. The parents, everybody. So the kid is picking up that same language because their mom and dad are saying it. So when you say, oh, you go to school, and it's like, oh, you shouldn't be saying that. It's like my mother and father saying it. How you gonna tell me I can't when everybody around me is doing it?
Say nothing to the kid.
But that's what I'm saying. So that's why I say it does play into where you from and how you're raised. Because we can say, yeah, it's all in the music, but it goes deeper than the music.
It really does. And we have so many ways.
It's a cultural thing.
It's weird. This is the thing I noticed so much. And we're going to have so many of these type of conversations. Here's one, peep game. When you out here in the burbs, like you go out on the street, it's quiet for real. Or quieter than when I go back home, like where I'm from.
Right.
And the first thing I notice is when I get to a red light, boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, I don't hear that in the vicinity. Like,
right.
No one has sounds in the casino, right? Like, sometimes you do. I mean, but
nah,
it's so
different.
rare.
It's different.
Oh, it's him.
It's different. I'm gonna give you an example. When I like
I
here,
don't mean to take us off the N-word, but the point is there are so many of these like microcultural symbols that like N-word to me is like a symbol of like, you know what, you know, and I'm like, no, we don't all know, and that's what I want to kind of have the conversation on.
When I'm out here and I go to my house and my kids are outside, there's barely any kids there. It's quiet. You can barely hear anything. When I go back home to New York and I go to my parents' house and I pull up on their block, as soon as I get out the car, I'm hearing it everywhere, Queens. So as soon as I get out the car, Jamaica, Queens specifically, South Side, we outside. So as soon as I get out, it's ringing off. It's every other word. Yeah. But that's the environment I'm from. So I get it. Like that's it. But if you only in one environment and that's where you've been your whole life, that's all you know. So it's hard to tell a kid that that's all they know, everything they hit, that they hear this every day, to tell them that they're wrong for saying this.
Are they hearing?
'Cause that's their culture.
All they know and hearing. I'm not even saying I'm right in my judgment of the word is bad. Because sometimes you talk to somebody and they be like, oh man, you got to go way back into when it was niggas. And I'm like, all right. I hear you. But my point is I don't use it because I know. The reason I don't use it is because it doesn't have a universality to it. I can't let everyone share in this experience, so I think something's wrong with it. It's fractured. If Eugene or John can't say it, then what we doing here, right? Because imagine if they flip it on me, Marcellus, chill. I'll be like, dog, I'm not chilling then.
What if they're not here? Do you still say
No, I don't. No, I don't. I don't.
That's the
But
maturity. That's the maturity.
That's maturity. That's maturity.
But I don't think I don't use it to you, and my thoughts on.
It's maturity. I don't curse, but I use the N-word.
Right.
So I was not mature. I don't, I don't want to put a label on that neither.
Is the word bad?
And I was going to say real quick, it may not be a maturity thing, but let's say Eugene and John is not in the room, and everybody is in here saying it. Nobody is looking at anybody with a side eye.
I am.
Why are you talking like that?
I am.
You might be the only one.
No.
Everybody else is like, everybody
yeah.
else is like, I get it. Like nobody's
get it.
faulting you. It's like I get it.
I
But then
get
when
it,
the
but
room, when the
I don't
dynamics
stop
of the room changes, then the conversation
I
is
think
different.
it's like we almost like that's the black password, or like password being black. Yeah. All right, so then we all cool with it. And my conversation is with you. Is it a bad word? Is it an okay word? Is it a good word? Is it a unifying word? Is it a divisive word?
It's a term of endearment when you're talking to another
Amongst
black
others,
person.
yeah.
But everyone feels love from it?
No. That's my perspective, and
I do.
that's my answer. And so
Yeah.
it's something good when I say it.
Okay.
Right.
Do you feel that?
Something good, Hatch?
Something good.
I feel like it's a term of endearment.
Why can't you say my man?
Because I don't want to.
He said, "My."
Which I said, it's different. My man.
That's not. Is it that you don't want to, or that you're so accustomed to saying one thing that doesn't come to your? He said, "My man."
I do say that a lot, though. I say that my man a lot, to be honest with you.
They don't hit the same.
I don't even think about not saying it.
Because sometimes I don't catch that I'm saying the N-word so much until somebody tells me. Because I'm so accustomed.
Because you're accustomed-
used
because you're accustomed to
saying
it.
That's why when I am at the schools, I'm watching. So it's been a couple times where I'm about to say, little.
Yeah.
Hey, just over there. You know what I'm saying?
Look, mature, if we're talking about maturity, yes, if I walk into a meeting with the CEO of Sony, am I go, what's up, my nigga? No, I'm not that dumb or ignorant or whatever you want to say.
Okay, why? Why don't you do that? What if he's black? What if he's black?
Because that's not appropriate.
So the word's not appropriate, but you use it.
Outside of us.
No, he said he's
No,
black.
he's
So
black.
still a
Black
CEO.
CEO.
Right, but it's not appropriate during the situation.
So it's not professional.
It's not
Okay.
professional.
It's
At
like,
that moment,
I get it.
now if you and the same CEO are out somewhere at 11 p.m. and you say it to each other, then it's appropriate to me. That's my
I know, I
perspective.
smell it. I smell it.
Like, yeah, I feel you too, because I done find myself when we at practice and when the JV coaches come, I ain't seen, I be, what's up, my nigga? Oh, oops. Damn,
It's out.
Okay.
But I think you have to at least put a bug in the ear of the youngsters, DP. You're around young people, and you have to at least. You don't have to beat them over the head with it, but you got to try to shape their minds a little bit. And now that you have evolved into this, then why not share that with them and say, "Hey, man,
Hey,
yeah, I definitely do.
Hey,
And one
man.
thing I love
Hey, first
about
of all, you go to any school and say, "Hey, man, you have lost them kids."
Can you dig it?
no, but I
Can you dig it, man?
Hey guys, they're like, man, look at this mother.
well, have you, or are they looking for something different?"
No.
They're looking.
Okay, well, I know we got more NARPS that want to jump in on this.
I
Let's
just
go.
want to say this real quick. I mean, all of the words are unprofessional. Even you saying the F word, you saying all of it kind of depends on what setting you use it in.
Yeah, but I let white people say F word back. We
Right,
don't let
but that
N-word.
word is, but that's a cultural thing. And remember, it started off as an insult, and as culturally, we flipped the meaning of that.
We said we did. I don't know if we did.
Amongst us, it is different. amongst us.
Nah, 'cause
Outside of us is different.
half the fights black on black are with the N-word in it too. What?
But do you get offended when another black person says it to you? You don't. No, you don't. Stop
Hold
it.
on. What does offended mean to you? To me, it makes me say, dog, you ain't full yet, because you won't let this word that you saying to me in love be shared by somebody who don't look like me.
But do you feel if another black person
You
says that to you?
you-
I heard you, but I want to be.
You know what? You know what I think the biggest question is?
I want clarity.
You know what I think the biggest question is? Will you be offended if a black person corrected you and said, why you keep saying the N-word? I wouldn't be offended because I know I'm working on it. I know I'm working on it. I know I'm trying, but I know some people do take that as offense. Like they say, nigga, why you trying to be?
But that's immaturity.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's why I don't argue it, but don't think I ain't thinking it. Like I've seen,
Take that criticism.
yeah,
I'm working on it.
I've seen people, look, we see it all the time. You can see, I've seen a pregnant woman smoke before, and look, like,
Well, it's offensive.
like we're real, like, and I'm looking like, I mean, we all been in the
funny,
store
but
see somebody just snap on their kid because the kid just wants ice cream. And I understand you yelled at him in the car not to ask for anything before you get in that store, and then he did because he's a kid. And then you lost your mind, maybe because, look,
You never know what else going on in their life.
I know what's going on in their life. I was that kid at the time. Like mama said, we only got $38 to get all this, and we ain't got the 39th.
So don't be asking for nothing.
But mama, you said that before. I saw that Baskin Robbins, that ice cream, that Thrifties. Right, and the register. So that's why they put it at the register. That's the last thing to get them. That's how they get you. So, but back to the N-word. My judgments and thoughts are not to be always shared. But in this forum, I'm gonna tell y'all what I really be thinking. I'm like, damn, dog. Like, I ain't looking down on you. I'm just like, you ain't taking that everywhere. So you kind of like a piece of yourself everywhere you go.
You want to know why I started the habit? If you really want to be honest to oneself, like why did you start saying the word? And I know why I started. Growing up with more white people, right? The town over was more black people. So when I'm with them, I want to say it more.
Yeah.
The first 10,000 times I said it, I had the ER on the end. So I said it more and more and more. And now that I get to say it, now I sound cool saying it. That's probably why I say it all the time. So you're right. I don't even hear myself saying it.
And a couple times
at
too.
this point in my life.
But Hatch, you put yourself in that shoes too. I find kids too, when they are in that around predominantly white people, they want to say it more because, hey, I can say it, you can't. I can say it, you can't. So I'm gonna keep saying it. We us in this group, we the only black people at the school. We gonna say it as much as we can because we gonna yell it. We gonna say it as much as we can because y'all can't say it, and we dare one of y'all to try to say it.
It'll be a fight, instantly.
That's just the sad part of the world we live in. You know.
Yeah. I mean, growing up in South Carolina, I mean, it was in those neighborhoods. You would say it like I grew up in a majority black neighborhood. It was very segregated as far as neighborhoods, just like it is out here, I'm sure, when you guys were growing up. But it's just you don't have a problem with when you grow up with it and everyone's saying it on the school bus, on the way to school, on the way back home from school, at football practice, in the locker room, and all those things. And granted, you do have people from other ethnicities on the team, but they already understand, just like adults do now, you can't say it. Now, granted, the older you get, you have kids, and the perspective is now, it's like, man, it's like I went to a football practice. I went to a training session for football, and they have like the older high school kids and like junior college football athletes out there, and every other word was that. And I was just like, I'm old because I don't like it. I understand it. I was like, I don't like hearing it. I almost went over and said, and then next time, I think because of this conversation, I think next time I do hear it, I think I'm gonna walk over and speak up and just like, hey man, like y'all bring it in right quick. This ain't cool. This isn't how you get to the next level. This isn't gonna help you. You gotta be able to find other words to use at some point. And I think at the end of the day, if we want to change the culture around the word, it's up to us. So when we hear that, like when DP said, like if you hear it, you gotta address it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
what's interesting about it?
You can say something cool and say, like, you can say, hey.
This is why I know the word is, look, my judgment is I know the word is not good.
Yeah.
And everyone is going to give their reason why or validation or justification. But here's the truth. If it's something I got to leave in certain places in my life, If it's something I got to leave behind me if I'm really living up to my potential, then you know it's not it. But look, do not let me give you a life lesson when we just walk in the AAU game. But when I'm walking by you and you do it and you say, do you side eye? I'm be like, yeah. I'm like, I know he's young and I know why he caught up like that. I'm like, I look forward to the day he ain't there. Because sometimes you walk into an adult environment. I've seen this. This is the one that really hurts me. A coach is coaching some kids and I show up and he N-wording the kids. And I'm like, one, I'm already looking at you like, can you even coach? And two, not only are you probably can't coach, now you're taking them kids a step back or giving them something they armed with that they're gonna have to leave somewhere or at certain places.
Well, this is the thing, like we're not, it's an evolution, right? Like I'm sure at 50, you didn't have the same perspective you have right now when you were 25.
That's why
you see what I'm saying? So it's evolved, but somebody at some point, like Anna Marie came and said to you, like, hey, that's not cool. I'm from Canada, I'm black. And but that accountability is the reason why you changed. Yeah. If she wouldn't have said anything to you, you wouldn't have changed. You'd be out here just every other
month. All right, let's swap it out. Let's swap it out.
I know you about to switch. I just was this real thing.
Hold on, we gotta stop this.
Okay, go ahead.
Like, we gotta share the
We switch it out.
You ain't nothing but him.
But I had a good point.
On the way out, let me hear it.
I just want to say, it reminds me of the conversation we had last week when we were talking about the Angel Reese thing, and you was asking from the father's perspective versus the businessman perspective. Yeah. It's just like now, and he touched on it, which I was about to say. When you're older, you look at that situation differently from when you was younger. So now, yeah, it's easy to say, oh, you shouldn't say that. But if you grew up in that all this time, 20 years ago, you wasn't thinking like that.
I love you.
So we get it's a gauge.
Not your best example.
No, I'm not using Angel Reese.
You just said Angel Reese.
No, what I'm saying is,
because I have a daughter that's 25 and at 21 she wasn't.
All you heard was Angel Reese. I'm talking about the context of it is depending where you are in life. Versus father versus businessman, depending on what side of the coin you are, is how you look at it. What I'm saying now, as when you're older, you look at it differently from when you were younger. So when you're in your 20s and 30s, you hear kids running that off. You're not thinking like that. Now, because you're in a different stage in life, you look at it in a different way. So I just feel like it's tricky depending how you gauge kids and how you look at kids.
Look, I'm about to be petty. I was a young father. I was a young businessman. So when you said that, the reason I'm like, I've been this for a long, like I was a young father and businessman saying the N-word. Right. And then I was like, oh, those titles didn't change. Those roles didn't change.
And then you got older.
Right. So it was really a maturity. That's my point. And it's some people who are in mature environments, like let's be real, it's black people who don't use this N-word from hello. If you better not. Right? And so I want to give them a little space and kind of some light too. Like it's not all just.
But it is definitely where you go, because I ain't start trying to correct myself until I started coaching these kids. And I'm like, man, I can't say it around them. And I gotta be an example. And that's when I really started looking at it and making it a priority in my life, even though I still got a lot more work ahead of me though. But when I'm around them, I'm good.
I love that. I love that. We have a few more minutes left before we shut it down. And you sure? Yeah, hey, you this close to the finish line. I'm messing with you, John, because that's the point of it. Like, I just look at the world. I look at it like with a perspective. Let's hear this. Good Lord. All right.
So.
What if he said, I
thought he was going there. No.
Oh, he said, no. That was the end came out. I was like, oh, I'm sorry.
I grew up just south of Detroit. Dad grew up in Detroit. The first thing he said to me as he's dropping me off at University of Michigan, he said, there's two types of people in this world.
Uh-oh.
He said, two types of people.
Damn, we going there.
Yeah. He said, there's there's good people. And he said,
I didn't know.
There's N-word. And I've never grown up with black people where I grew up.
Yeah.
And I've never said it. I don't say it. And for reasons, you see that. But it was more respect. And it's...
I hate to interrupt this dramatic moment. What were the two...
Yeah, what you said, normal?
Normal?
No, he said, there's black people.
Oh, black people say this all the time. Black people say, your daddy, he's dropping game. Your daddy dropping game. Hey, you ain't never been somewhere, somebody be like, yo,
So
he said,
and he's introducing me to a world he shielded me from, right? And I think that's all about it. Is like, what have you seen and experienced, and then where do you want to go, right? Like, I don't say it, but when I see that CEOs are getting lambasted, right, and they're white guys who said it in out of context and all this are getting fired for this, like that.
Okay, let me push back, John, because on this show, you know, and you already know me, this is my boy. So I heard something, and this is what, I don't have many like superpowers, but I think all of us have superpowers. And I tell kids all the time, you better find that superpower fast and go behind it in full passion and spirit. Stop, like we said last show, don't try to round yourself out. You fast, be fast. You know what I'm saying? Let's go from there. You said, and tell me, explain this to me. You said, I've never said it, and I don't say it. Never saying it, never said it would take care of I don't say it. But why, now, psychoanalysis 101, it'd be like, when you double down on something, there's usually a frailty and security to it. And I'm not, I don't want to press you like, dog, don't lie to me. Like, you know, leaving a concert, did you hit it? Like, you know what I mean? But it's okay. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I wasn't there.
But I think it's part of this conversation because when is it okay to say it if it's a song? I don't say it even in songs. And it's because it's just not what I say, right?
That's the toughest part. Okay, before we get to Jerry, let me give it to you. All right, I appreciate it. I was at a Jay-Z concert, and I remember this kid walked up to me. He was like, white kid, maybe 10. He was like, oh, man, what's up, man? Respect. I'm a big fan of yours. And can we take a picture? And I was like, I was like kind of caught off because he was too young to be like, I thought somebody that knew me like that. I was like, oh, yeah, sure, no problem. Jay-Z concert, right? They go, and we taking the picture, and I really don't like taking pictures at concerts because I'm there for him, not this, and it turns into you take one, you take a 1,000, right? And you're like, dog, I'm trying to do this. So then I'm like this. The kid spins around, gets someone his phone, they're taking forever to unlock it, and then it goes boom, 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 clap forward, and we about to take the picture, and the loudest I heard came from this little dude I was hugging, this little like 10-year-old white dude. He said, and he like, and I'm like, I didn't squeeze him. I didn't check him. I just was like, wow, and it's echoing. And then you look in the crowd, of course, most of them don't look like me, right? You go to this Rose Bowl, so it's like 80,000 up in here. I mean, it could be a whole different animal. So I'm like, that's why, that was just an affirmation of, to me, that word is just weird. How I felt, and then what I saw and what I heard. And I was like, we'd be pissed off if one-on-one this was happening to us on the daily. So, Terry, you tell me, man, take us home with this N-word and how you use it or don't use it.
Well, you know what? You know, as somebody who's used it like most of his life freely, and I still use it sometimes. But there was one time in my 30s where I heard myself say it, like actually heard myself say it, and it didn't fit smoothly in my conversation. And that's when that was the day I was like, you know what, I don't think I need this in my vocabulary so much. Now, I will use it now, you know, it's a term. No,
Relax.
No, what I'm saying.
Still relax.
But what I'm saying.
That was a long week and a half.
No.
Golly.
What I'm saying though, in a term of endearment, if I'm saying, if one of my friends does something really dope, I might say, you know what I mean? Or, you know what I'm saying? But like in my everyday conversation, I had to taper that because at that time I heard me say it. And then what I have gone through.
What was that jumped in, out of the word that made you say, uh-oh?
I didn't need it. I just said I didn't need it. Like I said it and it didn't flow with the conversation. It didn't flow with the point I was making.
Feel none of that? It didn't represent you? Like, I'm trying to figure out what definition did you give the word in that moment that was different than 20, 30 years of your life?
It was a ping. It was a ping. Like, you know,
Opinion?
a ping, you know, a ping, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
ping,
it was
okay.
a ping. It was like a ding, I don't need that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
And what I've had conversation with people who are not white, who have tried to use it around me, the question I always ask them is like, why do you want to say it? And they never have an answer.
Well, they can't.
No, but I mean, they can, but when you ask them why,
It's a racial thing, but 80% I can't do it, right?
I mean, you can, but when you ask them why, there's never an answer.
Right.
And they stop doing it. You know what I mean? So it's like, just to put a button, I think everything's been said today on this on that. So it's like, when I heard myself say it, that's the day I changed. So.
I mean, we're going to have so many of these conversations of our paths, like we said before, we didn't necessarily have the conductor in front of us to navigate us to this level. Everyone in this room, man, I'm proud to say is really my friend, and you guys are all successful. And even if you're not, it's a conversation that we had to deal with when we were youngsters, how this world was respected, and now that we're older, how we're perceiving this world because we want to be respected, right? And that's what I want to do is like not avoid these conversations, not dance around these conversations, not ask a ton of questions so you don't have to leave your opinion in these conversations because those kids are next, if not now. And we've learned so much game, we should be able to give it back to them, man. So appreciate everyone out there rocking with us on the Rocks, episode 6. No.